Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spiritual Journey podcast. My name is Nimesh, and I'm your host. I always love starting every episode by saying thank you. I feel so blessed with this podcast, the impact it's having, the people it's reaching. When I started this podcast, my intention was really to guide people on their spirituality, to simplify spirituality, and started out as a passion project, doing one episode a month, and now I do 2 a week. And I love the messages I get on a weekly basis. It really has become my passion project, but it's something that it's my way of giving back. It's my way of sharing whatever knowledge that's within me. Honestly, the knowledge I share, I feel comes from a different place. I feel very guided with it, and this podcast won't be anywhere wherever it is without you guys. So thank you for supporting this podcast. If you're a regular listener, thank you. If you're new, welcome. If you have any feedback, please do let me know. Feedback's always a blessing. I am an Akashic record reader, a podcast host, podcast creator, also trainer on Akashic Records. I guide people on their spiritual journey, holding space while people are going through a shift. I feel like we're all going through something. And I get to guide you. I get to hold your space, whether it's through the podcast, whether it's through spiritual mentorship, whatever it may be. I know part of my mission is to guide people on their journey. So thank you for your love, your support, the messages you get I get on a regular basis. And this episode I'm recording on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. I will release it for early Thursday morning. So if you listen to this on Thursday, it's fresh, it's energetically just been recorded. I was very conscious that we're in a phase of so much change, so much shifting. We have, depending on when you listen to this, we have Chinese New Year coming next week. We have, in Hinduism, Shivratri. We have eclipse. We have so much planetary movement. On the 20th, we've got Neptune and Saturn in 0 degrees in Aries, which hasn't happened for like 6,000 years. So it just really is a time of shifting energy. And so many people I've been speaking to the last few days are going through something that's like, one day you're feeling high, the next day you're feeling low. It's, lots of people having flus, colds, and just lots of things going on. And, it's coming up to Valentine's Day. In February is known as a season of love. And I just really felt called to do a solo episode. And I will post a meditation tomorrow to go with it. And this is my way of giving back. This is my way of nurturing and supporting your shift I feel like we're going from completion to new beginnings. And again, depending on when you listen to this next week, I feel like there's a lot of shifts going on, but I still feel that it's not going to be like all of a sudden we flick a switch and there's big changes. I feel like it's energetically you're going to feel it more, and then the changes come over a period of time. Obviously, everybody's different, so whatever's right for you is perfect. But I also feel that we need to be conscious and aware of what we want to carry into this next phase, and what do we want to consciously let go. And I really feel it's a time of spending time with you and really getting to know you, which is why I'm calling this week's episode Coming Home to Yourself, which is really what I feel like we're doing. I feel like we've been through this phase of isolation, massive change, but so often it's felt like we're not moving anywhere, but so much is changing behind the scenes. And it's just felt different all the time. It's felt like, at times it's felt really slow, but then time is going really quick. It's really been an interesting phase. And of course, we're still in the year of the snake, which finishes next week. We move to the year of the horse, the year of the fire horse. And of course, as it would have it, as I'm recording this and talking at the time on when I take a look at the time, it's 222. And two in my world, number 2 means wisdom. So again, I just love the signs and synchronicity of the universe. And the thing is that we still have to do the work, right? This is why I really want to encourage you as a beginning of this podcast to to really think about what do you want to let go of? What do you want to release and not carry on into the next phase? And that could be people, that could be things, that could be things you listen to, things you watch, people you spend your time with. It's a time of release and cleansing your energy, decluttering, creating space for new. And that's what I feel this phase is. And so I really do feel like we're coming home to ourselves. So you're coming home to you. You're getting to know this version of you. And don't assume that you know yourself, because look at how much you've shifted. Look at how much you've changed. Look at how many cycles are closed. It really is time for you to prioritize you. So many of us are the bridge between two worlds, keep one foot in the 3D and one foot in the 5D, if that's what you want to call it. But what it means is that we're still having this human experience, but also we want to raise our vibration, to release what we're not holding on to, connect with our guides. So that's the way you're the bridge. You inspire people to do things differently while still embracing your human experience. And I often wonder this. It's like, why did I choose to be human? Because I take my mentor, my friend Sarah Jeffrey, as a spiritual guide. She left this realm and she supports me in the other realms. I'm like, would that have been a better path? Could I have helped more people that way? And the conclusion I get is, we all chose to be human, and we all have a role to play. So I know I have a role to play on this planet, which is the path I chose. So having the human experience and finding balance in all four bodies, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, really feels important right now. Letting go of your expectations. I know it's February, the month of love, and whatever else you want to call it, and with Valentine's Day coming up, there's a lot of focus on do you have a partner, and what do you have love? Do you have a loving partner, and do you feel love outside you, and all that sort of stuff? But I really want to encourage you to look for everything you need in this moment inside yourself. Why do we often look for that? Look for love, clarity, reassurance from outside ourselves first? Why do we adjust our energy, our vibration to fit in with other people? You're a unique, sovereign human being. You have power in your own right. And the love I truly believe that we're seeking at the moment is the love from ourselves. My journey, I've experienced awakenings and so much, and I've experienced darkness, and a big part of that journey was realizing that all the love, all the joy, all the answers I'm looking for are inside me. And that doesn't mean I don't learn from others, but actually I get what I need when I need it most. And sometimes that does come from other people, but I recognize that I manifested it. So my first point to you is look for love inside you. Be proud of how far you've come, because there's been so much shifting. There's been so much happening on this planet. This planet is going through a shift like it's never been before, and which means that so are you. But we come into a place where you have a choice. Do you choose to fall in love with you and focus on yourself and do the healing on the inside, or do you let the outside noise consume you? Or is it somewhere in the middle? And actually, whatever your choice is fine. But you're being prepared, you're being trained, you're being given an option to build and create a strong base for yourself. And that allows you to be present, to be conscious and make a conscious choice. And how do you do that? It's by prioritizing you, choosing you. Being gentle and falling in love with this version of you is really, really important now. And the spiritual journey is interesting, right? Because there's such an emphasis on doing the work, we've got to do the work, you've got to do the work. And we got so used to it because it's like we've closed so many cycles. It's been so intense. It's just, we create a habit of just continually having so much work to do, and what do we next do we need to do on the spiritual? And I'm not saying we don't need to do the work, but you've got to just make sure that all this having to do something doesn't pull you away from your own center, your own being, that whole, and trusting your own intuition. So if your intuition says just slow down and rest, do that. It's okay. Where does the message come from that we always need to be moving, we always need to be shifting? Yes, the only constant is change. But it's still okay sometimes just to integrate. Spend some time in nature, just breathe. You're a beautiful soul that has chosen to be here. And yes, there's always going to be work, growth, and that's the thing. The day I stop growing, the day I stop learning is probably the day I leave this realm. So I get that. But you know what? Sometimes it's okay to reset. Sometimes it's okay to spend time just being. It's okay to spend time in meditation. It's actually okay to spend time, having a duvet day or whatever you call it, and just be, binge watch something, whatever, if that's what feels right. But at the same time, I would encourage you to meditate, time in nature, and of course all these things. But trust your intuition. And again, I talk about this all the time. What's the difference between your ego and your intuition? Your intuition is quiet and subtle. It's not loud. It's not brash. It's gentle. It's loving. So if the messages you're getting are brash, loud, in your face, probably from your ego. Your intuition normally speaks quieter. It's normally the first thing that comes through when you have to ask a question. And then your ego comes in, which is much louder, and sometimes it quietens the intuition. But you hear your intuition. Sometimes you choose just not to listen to it. And right now is a beautiful, perfect time to listen and trust your intuition. I'm very conscious about, making content on this podcast different. And, I do feel like there is a consistent message of the last few episodes. And, honestly, last few episodes has been either just me and Stacey. And I just kind of felt like I wanted to support you through this phase. And I'm not saying I have some amazing guests on this podcast. I feel so blessed. And I have some amazing guests coming up. I'm so excited. But I just felt between me and Stacey, we just wanted to support you as I feel like there's so many things closing, so many cycles closing. As we enter into next week, Chinese New Year, do I feel like, I don't feel like new beginnings and the end of completion is like an overnight switch. I feel like it just comes over a period of time. Bear in mind that, time is a human concept. I just feel like next week's going to be a pivotal week for this shift. So, and we recorded an episode recently talking about, how in this spiritual journey, we feel like we've got to be strong for everybody else. Especially now when the energy and everybody's going through something, it's so easy to get this energy, this vibration that we need to be strong, we need to be there for everybody else. And I'm not, of course that's a beautiful intention, but you can't do that at the expense of you, because eventually you'll start to resent that feeling, and it drains you in the end. So you've got to find balance. This is the thing. This is, your ego is important. The human side of you is important. But you, yourself, your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, your spiritual body, finding balance between nurturing all four is something I feel like is really important right now. And being honest with yourself. How do you really feel about this phase? Honestly, my energy this week has been up and down. There's been days I've been like feeling so great and so inspired, and other days I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But I also, as I sat with it, I recognize a lot of that is not my energy. It's the collective. And honestly, part of my journey, I feel like, is holding the energy for the collective, is holding space for my clients, is holding space for, and I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with it of doing that at the expense of me. This is where balance comes in. This is where at times I need to take time out for me, and that's okay. The beauty of kind of working with me on the mentorship or whatever that looks like is yes, we have weekly calls and, the human stuff and all that, but I also hold your space in between those sessions. But that's what a soul contract looks like. And by the way, side note, my voice resonates, then do reach out. But this message is different to that. It is, come home to yourself. You're a powerful being. You deserve you to spend time with you. You know, if you've been feeling tired, drained, if you feel like this phase has been going on forever, then you're not alone. It has. You know, in many ways, you know, when I talk to a lot of people, this cycle maybe started in 2012, 2018. I mean, it's all years, right? But all I'm saying is that this cycle has been going on for a while. This shift the planet's going through it's not something the planet's ever been through. So you're going through something your soul has never been through. So it's like so multifaceted. Are you entering a cycle personally? Yes, you are. For this lifetime, yes, you are. But are you also here to guide and hold space for this planet while it goes through the biggest shift it's ever been through? Yes, you are. Again, that's just my feeling, by the way. But also, is your soul expanding? Are you releasing more karma, ancestral and personal, than you have in maybe any other lifetime? I again believe that you are. And just for me, the signals and the signs are just, I feel this planet going through a shift like it's never been through before. It's shifting from divine masculine to divine feminine. And I feel like this period is going to be a period where, you know, these individuals, these egos that we put on a pedestal, I feel like it's all coming down. I feel like, you know, the time for community, the time for collaboration, the time for manifesting and creating your soul family is what's really important right now. And this is why prioritizing you is important. This is why looking at who do you have in your world and who do you need to let go of with love, ease, and grace. It doesn't have to be emotional. It has to be intentional. Is it spare time to, have you got clutter in your home? Have you got clutter around in wherever you do? This is a time for clearance. This is, you know, it's interesting. Yes, you know, January the 1st is a new year and all that sort of stuff. But for me, spring equinox is really the new year, which is March 20th. And I feel like we're coming up, but it's like this is a period of decluttering before the spring equinox, which is, you know, springtime is a lot of newness, right? So, but again, even, you know, like I said, it's Chinese New Year next year. So use all these signs. You know, year of the snake, we're coming to that period. So if you have been feeling emotional, heavy, maybe not feeling well, and you just feel lethargic, or you feel at times you feel energized, euphoric, it's normal. Everybody's going through something. But this is what I'm saying. I feel like we are coming home to ourselves. We're not fixing. We're returning to our true essence. You know, on this journey, when we're born, we come into this world humanly with a clean slate. Obviously, we're bringing karma and soul contracts, but really, we're present. As babies, we're present. We cry, we get attention. Attention, maybe love, maybe food, whatever it may be. But this is deeper. For me, this is us returning to our true essence. Whatever we've been through on this human journey, whatever program we've collected, wherever you are, it's as much as possible returning to your truest essence. So if you're getting the pull to change careers, to do something different, start a side hustle, start shining your light differently, follow those nudges. And here's the thing, it's like whatever path and however that looks like for you is different for you. Some people will totally change their career overnight. Other people will start a side hustle and do things in their own time. And there's no right or wrong. There's no, you know, that yes, there's urgency. The urgency is more around focusing on you. I don't really feel like this is a period of massive change and massive action. I feel like it's small actions that over time will lead to big actions. But follow your nudges, follow your intuition. Nothing needs fixing. You're not here to fix anything. You are exactly where you're meant to be. And, you know, maybe the message is take no major actions and just be. But again, Never take no actions. The action would then still be to spend time with you, spend time in nature. Just because you're not taking any major action to start anything new, still got to meet the universe halfway by self-care, by spending time with people who raise your vibration. So you still have a responsibility. And again, if you are getting the nudge to take some small actions, then take those actions. It's like for so many of us, we're waiting for a plan. We can feel a shift coming, and at some point, the human in us wants a timeline. Wants to know, okay, how long is this phase going to last? What do I need to do next? What does the next 6 months, 6 years, whatever look like? I don't feel like this is that time. I feel like we get glimpses of what's coming next. And that's all they can share with us now, because if they showed us the full plan, it'd consume us. So it's not like our guides, the universe doesn't want to share with us. I feel like the shifts that are going on are so seismic, so big, that actually they're showing us glimpses. They're showing us little bits. I feel like over the next year or two, again, that's human time, life is going to look very different. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I feel like this could be the most blessed time to be on the planet, or it could be the most painful, or it could be somewhere in the middle. But I feel like we have a choice. And I feel like, again, I repeat, the choice is going to be, do we do the work on the inside? Do we choose to embrace our magic? Do we choose to be the bridge? Or do we, and there is pain, right? Send love where there's pain, of course. When the planet's going through this sort of shift, you feel the pain. But you can't let the pain consume you, because we have a collective responsibility to shift this planet. And you allowing yourself to be consumed by the pain on the planet isn't helping you or anybody else. But you shining your light, setting an example, setting a strong intention, using your voice to spread love, not pain. Shining your light differently, being seen. And if you inspire one person to do something differently, then what if you've achieved your purpose? We stress around, finding our purpose. Oh my God, I need to find my purpose, Why? What makes you think you've just got one purpose? What if your purpose right now is just shining your light uniquely, putting you first? I always say my purpose is I want to leave anybody I can connect with better than a father. And that allows me to do podcasting, allows me to do mentoring, allows me to do public speaking, reading Akashic Records. It does. I'm not tying why would I want to tie myself down to one thing? We're a soul having a human experience. Our soul is so vast. It's experienced so much. You're never going to get given anything on this planet you can't handle. And I get it. Sometimes I trigger people by saying, everything in your external world, everything you've been through is a result of something in your internal world. And everything you're going through is something your soul chose. And it's like if you're going through something painful, it's difficult, because why would your soul choose it? It's because you had karma to release. It's because you had personal ancestral karma. It's your soul needed to grow in some kind of way. And what if everything you've been through and going through is part of your training for what you need to do next? How are you going to shine your light next? The stages to healing for me, first stage is awareness. And how do you become more aware? You change your question. Whatever you're going through, how is it serving you? What is it teaching you? You start asking yourself more open questions. Instead of being in victim mode, things like this always happens to me. Or, being in victim mode and, worst things always happen to me and all this sort of stuff. Bear in mind, whatever you focus on expands. So, for example, if you ask your guides for questions and help and support, but in your mind you don't believe you're going to get it, the guides universe will hear that and they say, okay, you know what? This person wants to be proved right by not getting the support. Okay, we'll support you by not giving you support. And I get it's not straightforward, right? It's just, trusting, having faith when you're going through something painful is really hard. But even if you start with a little intention, a little bit of trust, letting go of your expectation. You may not feel it, but this is a blessed time to be on this planet. And when you're in the focus of returning to you and not fixing you, it's like we feel in the culture and what we've been trained is we need to work on ourselves. Oh my God, we need to work on ourselves. There's so much work to do. But what if this is a phase of simply being with yourself? Slowing down enough to hear your own needs. We put so much pressure on ourselves. What if what our focus is right now is what we used to need? What if this new version of ourselves that released so many karmic cycles, that's been through so much, needs something different? Unless you slow down and listen, how do you know that? And the other thing, the other truth is, look, if you struggle to spend time with yourself, then I believe there's something happening inside you that you haven't been ready to face. But when you start spending time with yourself, it gives you an opportunity to really understand you from the inside and really understand how beautiful, how loving you are. As I'll always say, whatever the question, the answer is always love. So slow down, be present here, be present in your heart, and just spend time, spend multiple times in the day just stopping, breathing, and being present. Just breathe it. Just do it. Do that in this moment. Close your eyes and be present, if you can, obviously. But just breathe in. If you can't close your eyes, just breathe. Be present. What are you feeling in this moment? And this is a reminder that everything you need is inside you. If you are lowering your vibration, or if you're giving your power away by wanting somebody else to fix you, then the only thing I can encourage you to stop is focus on you and know that everything you need is inside you. This is the biggest clue with soul contracts that come to an end, is asking yourself that question: am I lowering my vibration? Am I looking for somebody else to fix me? Am I giving my power away to that person? And if you stop doing those things and all of a sudden there's a disconnect, then there's a lesson there for you. But again, unless you slow down and listen to your own vibration, how do you know that? If you think about it, the only relationship that never leaves you is your relationship with yourself. People come and go, right? People in your life for a reason, season, or life. They come in for a reason to teach you something. Sometimes they're there for a season, a few seasons. Sometimes they're there for life. But we go through so many rebirths and so many, which life are they here for? And that includes blood family, because, I talk about blood family on this occasion on this podcast, and where I remind people, you pick your blood family to expand you, to teach you something, not always to love you. So there's no guarantees that everyone you have in your life now will be there forever. But your relationship with you is the only constant. It never leaves. Yes, it changes. Yes, it evolves. You go through shifts. But really, your relationship with you is really what you're here to experience in this lifetime. So how do you feel about you? What are those conversations you have with yourself that you don't always own up to? Or what are you running away from? You are honest with yourself. How do you feel in this moment? What are you proud of for you in this moment? What are you not proud of? Which relationships are you holding on to? Are you holding on to an old version of yourself? Because that's the other thing with this thing. When I ask you to really consider, what are you ready to let go of? That could also include this version of you. Because, this version of you has been through so much. You're so proud of this version of you. You're a badass. You've worked through so much. And it's like, if you let this version of you go, then what's coming through? This is the thing. We've been asked to take a leap of faith. We've been asked to trust whatever's going next. And it is uncomfortable. Of course it is. Again, and that could be an honest conversation. What's courage? Courage for me is having fear and doing anyway. So if this phase scares you, then admit it. Self-trust grows when you start trusting your intuition and taking action on it and stop outsourcing your decisions. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean, it's like, the latest trend is AI. I'm not telling you not to use AI as part of an extension of your channel, of course, but it can't replace you doing the work. It can't replace making decisions for you. You have to trust your intuition. You can't outsource your decisions. This is your journey. You're a soul having a human experience. So you have to take responsibility. Yes, you use all these supporting things to support you. If you've created a soul circle in your life of people who really raise your vibration, then of course lean on them. Asking for help, asking for support is a sign of strength. But make sure that you also support yourself. And the other thing is a beautiful time to connect with energies and vibrations in other realms. Start connecting with your guides. And this is it. If you listen to this and you're thinking, I don't know how to connect with my guides, I don't know if I have guides, then the way you start to trust and your guides is by trusting your intuition. Because again, people get frustrated. I don't see things. I don't hear things. Majority of the time, most people start with feeling. And maybe then that opens up into hearing and seeing. Or maybe your connection with your intuition just builds to a really strong level that you trust in your intuition unconditionally. And maybe that's your journey to connect with your guides. Think about some of the major decisions you've made in your life. And if you only had your this existence, your head, your current, to make that decision, you may have not made it because you would have been fearful. But when you trust your intuition and you trust the calling to start something new, a lot of that time that comes from your guides, it comes from your intuition. We judge ourselves so much. We have a conversation in our head, and if we had the same conversation with friends, they wouldn't be friends anymore. To stop having that painful and start having a loving conversation with yourself. Just choose gentleness. Get to know you. And again, that doesn't need to be complicated, right? Because in your mind, you're probably thinking, I don't know how to do that. How do I love it? It's a gentleness of spending time with you, spending time in meditation, spending time with doing things that you enjoy, prioritizing you. And it's, a lot of the time it's like, I need to do work, I need to do work, I need to do work. Be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself to love you from within, not from effort. How does that even feel when I say that to you? Allow yourself to love you from within. How does that make you feel? And again, start with something small. Small daily ways to return with yourself. Time in silence, stillness, having that honest conversation with yourself. The only way you're going to get to know this version of you is by spending time with you. And just breathing. Breathing is prana. It's so powerful, simple breathing technique of breathing in for 4 seconds, holding it for 4 seconds, and breathing out for 4 seconds. Allows you to start to connect you with you from the inside. And this episode really is a powerful reminder that nothing is missing. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Be gentle, be kind, but make a choice to stand in your power. You don't have to search for where you belong. You've been home all along. This is just your opportunity to focus on you, fall in love with you, and return home. I'm sending you all so much love and light. whatever you're doing this weekend for Valentine's and however you're embracing the new energies of next week. And even if you are listening to this in some point in March, it's perfect. There's still a message there for you to fall in love with you. I love what I get to do. The biggest thing I'd recommend from this episode is ask me about my membership. It's such a loving space. It's still relatively small. I haven't really pushed it because I'm just loving the interactions with the people, that people are getting to know each other. It's a safe space to heal. It's a safe space to be. You do get more access to me. I'll do a couple of Zoom calls a month. I'll send energy updates. It's just, yeah, it's a beautiful safe space. And so many other stuff I'd love to help with, mentorship, so many other things. And, look at my website. I'll include the link in the show notes. My voice resonates. Maybe I'm meant to guide you. Maybe I'm meant to help you. Maybe we're meant to co-create something. Reach out. I'm sending everybody so much love and light. Truly hope you feel my love. I'm sending you the biggest hug. And as I close out, also remember to allow your guides to love you. Feel their energy, feel their support. And also allow and open yourself up to be vulnerable to people on the human plane. Those people that raise your vibration. Trust your heart, trust your intuition. If you've been guided to open up to somebody, then trust it. Love and light to everybody. Bye for now.